Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 38, another 7 curious interesting things I saw last week, so let's crack on. The first one is Alter Ego, so this is from Fox, and just when you thought there were no more music competition genres to be invented, along comes Alter Ego. So this does actually look pretty cool, I must admit. So you've got your judges, you've got everything set up, you've got will.i.am, you've got Grimes, you've got Nick Lachey, and you've got Alanis Morissette of all people. Isn't that ironic? Or something. So the way this works is you've got 20 contestants who, for whatever reason, haven't made it in the music industry. They are not confident on stage, and if only they had an alter ego. So that's exactly what happens. The team work with them to design their ultimate alter ego, and that's how they perform. So it's all using motion capture suits and facial capture, and as you can see, it's all sort of comped together in sort of live broadcast. It does actually say there is a live studio audience. I'm not quite sure how they're seeing that. I assume they just watch it on the big screen and it comp it all together. But there you go. It does actually look pretty awesome. So as I say, I think there's actually, it's on Fox, but there are 3 episodes out already. So go and check it out. It's on their website, and there's also clips on the internet. There you go. Second one. So we've just seen the iPhone 13 update or reveal. It was pretty lackluster, if I'm really honest with you. Nothing particularly interesting in it. However, you've got John Prosser, who is from FPT, or runs FPT, the channel, and is notoriously accurate for predicting stuff, or at least getting some sort of backhanders from somebody in the industry that is passed them from maybe manufacturing or something like that. And that's what's happened in this case. So he has received some sort of schematics or something like that, purportedly from the iPhone 14, which is a year away. So this is unprecedented in terms of getting a scoop, really. So, so what might the iPhone 14 have on it? And basically, is it worth buying the iPhone 13 right now? The answer is no, because the iPhone 14 looks awesome. It harks back to the iPhone 4, so that metal band around the outside, 2 slabs of glass either side, which I must admit I really liked as well back in the day. I think it's one of the best iPhone designs they've ever come up with, as does John. So yeah, the notch has gone, as you might see. There is a pinhole, as it's called, so through the screen, because under-screen cameras still are not particularly good. So the pinhole is what you get. Again, not particularly new. There are other cameras like that on screens already out there. As you may notice from the back, the cameras themselves are flush. So the iPhone 13 just looks silly because it's quite a thin phone, and then you've got these cameras that stick out of the back by all sorts of like 2 steps. It's just getting a bit silly. So it would be brilliant if they can actually get them to be this flat. Again, there are, as you can see on screen right now, periscope lenses and things like that. So hopefully it will look like this, but there you go. So again, it's still got a lightning port in it, but there is no notch. There you go. Yeah, have a look at the link below, or check out FPT channel for the full video and the full rundown and all the renders. So this isn't actually the file that he was sent. He was sent schematics, and he's employed somebody to make these renders happen. So might be slightly far off, but who knows? It'd be amazing if it is like this. This is really interesting report. So this is actually from a research lab in the UK, basically saying that your doorbell, or at least your high-tech kit, is probably pointing you out to burglars as being relatively affluent and therefore worth burgling, which is ironic, seeing most of these are security devices. So things like the Nest, or Ring camera, that sort of thing. If they're bolted to your door, or you've got a security camera. Now it turns out that you're more likely to buy one of these if somebody in your household is earning over £55,000 a year. But it's really interesting about this kind of conspicuous wealth that is bolted to the outside of your house are making you more likely to be burgled. We've seen a shift during lockdown from commercial premises to domestic. So obviously burglars are becoming more and more adept at finding sort of familiarity basically is what they prey on. So if they know, for instance, there's a certain lock that they see in your door, they will more likely break into your house. So the more people have got these things, the more they're likely to transfer their commercial knowledge, should we say, getting into commercial properties using hacks into your domestic properties. So there might be some sort of future vision where these devices are either slightly more hidden or they look like older things and therefore less conspicuous. At the moment, they look shiny, they look nice and bright and nice and colourful, and they look like you're rich. So if you're you got one of those, watch out. This is a really cool thing. So this is again not new, but there's been an update in it. This is a battery that actually uses strontium-90, which is basically a byproduct of nuclear power. So this battery can actually last for 28,000 years. It's not particularly strong. It's in the order of milliwatts. So those are microwatts, sorry, not milliwatts. It's even sort of 1,000 times smaller than that. So 100 microwatts, which is tiny, but it could actually, for instance, power a medical device, pacemaker, that sort of thing, or a communications relay, or something like that. So the way this works is even cooler than what the diagram shows you here. Is you take the sort of the thing on the right-hand side, which is basically taken from the carbon cores of nuclear power plants, and the carbon is what stops the thing going into catastrophic meltdown. So they take a little bit of heat basically, and they also become radioactive with strontium-90. Now it turns out this strontium-90 is fairly energetic still, so if you put it in a device, put some silicon on one side, it will actually try and transfer electrons across that gap, and a transfer of electrons is electricity, and that's how this works. So as I say, it lasts for 28,000 years, and the even better part of it is the way it works is actually there's a diamond inside a diamond. So you take this carbon, you turn it into a diamond, and then you surround it by a diamond, which protects the diamond from overheating and also irradiating people. So it's super cool. Have a look at the YouTube video if you can, if you're that inclined. But yeah, imagine having small batteries that last for 28,000 years, and essentially they can power the edge internet or sensors all around us, or micro dust, all those sorts of things that we've been talking about. We've been waiting for some sort of power source, and it's diamonds, which is also cool. The Catwalk C has just been basically put on the website. You can buy this now. So you've seen probably treadmills before and virtual reality treadmills. For instance, I think you've had the Omni one, what was it called? The Virtuix, I think it was called. And there's also the Infinidec, came out a few years ago, but they're pretty much either expensive or you can't really get them. You have to kind of phone up and say, we want them for this purpose, and they'll probably let you have one. I think that's my understanding anyway. However, this one you can buy. This is £1,000 in UK money. And it works with slippy shoes. So you have a big plastic dish, you put on special shoes which have essentially a bit more plastic on the bottom of them, and you can run around. It attaches at your waist. You have to sort of buy the right size for you, because obviously if you're 6 foot or 4 foot, you'll need a different waist attachment. And also the other thing, it needs shoes. So if your mates come round and want to have a go, then you need to buy some shoes for them as well. And you know, just a bit like bowling shoes, nobody really wants to wear somebody else's shoes. So there you go. However, it looks super cool. It's £1,000. It's affordable. And if you've got your VR headset, then this is for you. As you can see, you can run around. Apparently, it makes free-ranging games like this, like No Man's Sky or whatever. Apparently, it just blows you away with a whole sense of space that you get, rather than just using the thumbstick. So that is neat. Really like that. So this is Taara. Now, I haven't actually found out what Taara stands for, but I'm sure it's telecommunications or something like that. However, this is part of Alphabet's moonshots. So this is it used to be part of the Loon project, which was going to be sort of Google's balloons, helium balloons around the world, that would bring broadband to rural communities. That's been shelved. However, one part of it has actually carried on, and they've recently released some results from it. So this is actually beaming the internet through lasers, so line of sight lasers. So put them on a really big antenna, point it, I think up to 20 kilometers away, but the recent test was only over 5. However, over 20 kilometers in, broadly speaking, a nice weathered place. So in like California, for instance, they say it probably wouldn't work because of the smog and the clouds and all that sort of stuff. But in the Democratic, or actually the Republic of Congo as well, then it works perfectly because there's quite clear air. So this was actually, as I say, in Congo, and going across the Congo, you can see there in the bottom corner, to the Democratic Republic of Congo. and it was over 5 kilometers, speeds of up to 20 gigabits per second, which is huge. And over a 5-day period, they actually transferred 700 terabytes of data, which is amazing. So just to put this into perspective, then this link that went across the Congo was actually to save 250 kilometers of cable, which they basically can't put it across the Congo because of the valley and whatever. So they go up and down the valley and crossing it at a better point, which is about 250 kilometers, which makes the broadband 5 times more expensive than normal. So all of a sudden, this is bringing cheap and plentiful broadband to parts of the world that wouldn't already get it. So I think that is amazing. Almost finally, we've got the researchers from Santa Barbara, and they can predict how many people are in a room based on how you fidget in the room. So they're doing this through Wi-Fi. So they put a Wi-Fi transmitter outside of the room, and it can pick up subtle variations in people's movement. And you don't need your phone on. This is just literally picking up interferences in the ambient Wi-Fi. So as you can see in this illustration here, if you fidget, then you become visible to Wi-Fi, or you change the Wi-Fi, and therefore they can see, broadly speaking, which person it was in the room because you have a certain type of fidget. You add all those together, you can get the amount of people in the room. Now this was between 0.1 and 1% error code, so it was basically saying that it was 99 or 99.9% accurate. So if there were 10 people in a room, you just switched on this Wi-Fi, it would say there are 10 people in the room. So this is really interesting for instance, crowd control, or whether you run a venue or something like that. Maybe if you use some sort of data capture about that, then that's quite interesting. Footfall for shops, etc. There you go. So hopefully that was useful, hopefully that was interesting, and I will see you again next week.